All right, welcome to Hit and Sit Show number 40. My guest today is the most prolific home run hitter of all time, Mighty, the Big Cat, whatever you want to call him, Mike Macenko out of Ohio. Mike, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing just fine, Dale. Thank you for having me on. I really like
Yeah.
it.
Mike, how many Smokies did you play in? Smoky Mountain Classics.
Well, I started in 1980, so I quit in 2000. So I think I played in 20.
2021, something like that.
Yeah,
Our
for
other
sure.
panelist is Joel Sanchez. I always announce him as the shortstop for Sports Reach, who swings DeMarini, but this week he's the MVP of the Crown Town Classic in Kansas City. Joel, what
Yes,
did it
sir.
feel like double dipping Resmana?
Listen, if it was just double dipping Resmondo, yo, that in itself is unbelievable. But if you were to see the whole tournament that we had, yo, we almost, in a nutshell, almost lost to T's 13. Lightning show happens. We come back, beat them. Legends. Shout out to all the military cats, Danny Opitch, and all those things that I used to do against him. We beat them. The next day, Beaches. We have a monkey on our back against them. Somehow we can't beat them. We beat them. Then Resmondo, I entertain and make those cats laugh and giggle and all these things for about half an hour before that game, and they beat us by 30. I woke up Sunday, and I was like, yo, I made it to Sunday. Holy smokes. What a feeling. However, I ran out of ibuprofen and everything that can help. I was borderline zombieing out at BP. And here comes straight play strolling across the field. And it wasn't just straight play. It was the same straight play we've 0-2 against. Tyler Dickens with the feathery lethal hair, and then Bud always just sneakily covering the lines. And all of a sudden, we're up on him. Same story. We're up on him. And then they change out the pitcher. And all of a sudden, it's this Chris Farley looking cat, and I don't know what's going on. We've never seen him. He's pretty heavy. And all of a sudden, I try to go up the middle. We all try to go up the middle. He snaps all of us off, goes 3 for 3. Somehow at the end of the game, I'm here like, we won? No. And then here comes, they look like the Bang energy drinks when they wear the Miami Dolphins uniforms. They look like walking energy drinks because they're all 6'5" and like stocked up and all these things. Oh my goodness. We were just talking about it earlier. Yo, I'm a fan of all of those cats. Dog, Kyle Pearson's been hitting 2,000 all year round. Josh Riley, you're never gonna not be scared to pitch to him. Then you got Bradley Jones. Then you got Phil Mack. Then you got the legendary Connell. I get to share the field with Connell. I get to be in the set. I get to look at his face when I go to Dick's Sporting Goods. He's in the bat section. There's a big picture of him and Beza. Don't forget Beza. And then on top of that counterpart that I have to play against, Tyler Marshburn. Yo, those cats are unbelievable. They don't miss. They don't do anything. But, let me tell you something about Sports Reach, bro. Somehow, some way, bro, we're missing Rockabaldo. Richard Rockabaldo, that's our only major cat. Yo, he can do it all. He's 5 tools. He's the man. He wasn't there, dog. He was our spearhead. Robert Blackburn shows up this weekend. Yo, we're like, okay, cool. And then we put somebody a second name, Anthony Otrendo. Yo, and Anthony makes all these plays. Jeff Kesky, yo, out of all the 5-man that I've ever had, yo, he's unbelievable. Dagmar has been lights out. Joey making all the plays behind me. Double A doing double A things. No, I didn't say more. Bro, everything was just clicking. And cherry on top, both pitchers, Blue and Bobo. Yo, those cats are unreal. They know how to pitch to the defense. We work together. No, we're still figuring it out. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of blacked out half the time because I was just, when you play a team like Resmondo, all the major teams, Rufex, Sonny's, all those guys, even JBL and Nitro, that 1 through 10, is lethal. So you got to go and make it little mini games. So you got to be like, all right, Josh Riley, what's he going to do? He's either going to 5-6, or he's going to hit that right center field gap, or he's going to hit this line, or he's going to hit that line. All right, let's cover all of it. And then Cal Pearson. Yo, you got to be on it. And like, bro, everything just clicked. Because
so you basically won the last 3 games. Like, you barely got by T13 Friday night until the storm came in. And then you won 3 games on Saturday by like 1-2 runs a game. Phenomenal run. We'll get to that more in a second. I'm going to give a rundown, if Bernie can share my screen. I'm going to give a rundown of what's happened since the last show, which was before the Chattahoochee Major. Let me just check. Yeah, we're going to share the screen, Bern. So basically, this show and my last report is dedicated to Tiny Taylor, who passed away, longtime manager. He was with Dan Smith. He won a Worlds with 454. He's been with Smash It Sports. A phenomenal softball mind. So we're doing this in honor of the memory of Tim Tiny Taylor, and my first ever coach in softball, and a huge major softball fan, Randy Beamish, who passed away on June 3rd, just a few weeks ago. So if you look at the screen here, Roofex won the Chattahoochee over Rismondo. They're undefeated on 300-foot fields, Roofex is, and they're the #1 team in the country right now. Patrick Center was the MVP. There's a team picture of Roofex. Of course, they started as those players out of Topeka, Indiana. There's still, I think, 6 players on the team. The women's Chattahoochee was won by Monsta over Team 24. Monsta was undefeated. The MVP was Casey Britt, who we've had on the show before. There's a shot of La Familia Monsta, who won the Chattahoochee Major. Then we go on to the Seattle Duel #1. Bay Area Legends was the winner over Cheap Suits, with Classic Glass 3rd, NFM 4th. The MVP was the legend, Bryson Baker, who took, I think it was 3 years he took off. He came back. He's playing A-ball with Bay Area, was the MVP. Put up some phenomenal numbers. That's Bryson right there, second from the left in the back. Of course, Chente Granados they picked up. Sean Jones was the pitcher. Second duel out in Seattle was Unlimited Homers. It was actually won by Cheap Suits, who knocked off Bay Area. Bay Area won the first tournament, lost the first game of the second tournament, ran the losers bracket, and ended up second to Cheap Suits. Cheap Suits wins their second tournament of the year. The rookie, Matthew Valencia, I'm saying that correctly, was the MVP. Bryson Baker was offensive MVP. There's a shot of the Cheap Suits with their iconic uniforms that everybody knows by now. So we move on to the women's side of the duel. Derby Girls won the first duel over My Auto Jack. Ashley Langoni MVP. And then the second duel in Seattle, also Derby Girls undefeated, beating My Auto Jack again. Megan Baltzell, the MVP. That's a shot of Derby Girls. They won both Seattle duels. And we move on to, what do we got? Kansas City. Joel, Sports Reach, double dips Rismondo in the finals. Shocker. Check out the condensed games on YouTube, the USSSA Live YouTube channel. Straight Play was 3rd. West Point was 4th. And there it is. Joel Sanchez, MVP. Phil Matt, offensive MVP for Rismondo. And then Austin Andrews, the center fielder for Sports Reach, was the defensive MVP. There's a shot of Sports Reach, also sponsored by Grizzy DeMarini. There's Joel with his daughter. And so the season so far, you can see who's finished in the top 4 on this graphic. You can see we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 winners in 12 events. So that's kind of nice to see. And then the computer rankings. Roofx, #1 in the computer rankings and #1 in the points. Resmano, the expected #1, a close second. And let's see, Joel Sports Reach up to 6th in the computer rankings. That's pretty good. Straight Play, the top AA team. And then a breakout by classification. You can see Straight Play, JBL Sports Reach, all right there at the top, pretty close. In the A division, it's LSR, Bay Area, and I-57. And then in the B division, Ely Real, Thunder, and Impact Reloaded is actually listed 3rd. They have enough games to qualify still. So we're going to move on to the Smoky Mountain Classic. Some questions for our panelists. And I just wanted to show, we have the tournament preview up on conferenceuSSSA.com. Check it out. It's got the history of the Smoky in there. The weather report, it's supposed to be 95 degrees. We're going to use, here's a shot of the 1985. I don't know if it was Mike that posted this. I grabbed it off of Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bernie's still sharing the screen, hopefully.
That was...
There it is. That's the crowd in 1985. Definitely bigger than today's crowd. Today's crowd is decent on Friday nights, but not quite this big. Thousands of people there across the 2 fields in 1985. I was there in 92 and 93, and the crowds look like this, pretty much.
The one weekend, the one year, there was 3 days, there was 27,000 people there.
27,000 people came through the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was just going to touch on the ball at the Smoky. Over the years, the Stadium ZN's been used, the Bad Batch Stadium's been used, the Classic M, the Pro M, the Bad Batch Pro M, and then last year was the Pro M Hardcore Ball. And as you can see, the highest home run frequency in the history of the conference, the highest on base percentage, 724. And Resmano averaged 104 runs per game last year per 7 innings that they batted. They just never hit 7 innings because all the games were run rolls. But we're going to get on to the questions for the panel. My first question is to Mike Macenko, the greatest home run hitter of all time. What is your favorite memory or story of the Smoky Mountain Classic, which you just said you played for over 20 years in?
Oh yeah, there's so many different good times, but I guess you have to say when you win is definitely one of your favorite times. And I remember in 1990 when we won the Classic, and we had to play Rich's because it was our Silver Bullet team against the Rich's team, and Rich's team had Hightower and just the whole list of the players. I mean, if we didn't have them, they were on that team, so we had to play them for the championship. And we ended up coming back, and well, we didn't come back. We ended up going undefeated. We played very, very well that weekend, and I just remember that we started out that season. We lost the first tournament of the year to Rich's. It was kind of crazy because we lost that tournament, and when we lost the tournament and lost to Rich's, there was some things said by our coach that was kind of upsetting. And then I'm sure for 2 weeks it worried a lot of players, but we stuck with it, and we played the whole season. We won like 13 tournaments in a row, and one of them was that Smoky Mountain. So that's one that definitely sticks out in my mind. And then another one was the 1986 Smoky, because I believe that was the year, or was that 87? 86, I think, is when Smythe Sox came into the tournament at 56-0. They were undefeated for the year, and we ended up coming back and having to double dip them because they were that good of a team. And as we were playing the game on Sunday and the place was packed, I'll never forget it because I was at the plate, and it was the beginning of the first game that we had to play them. They beat us. It's over with. And the first time I was up, I mashed one. I hit one good, and as I hit it, the sky just turned black, like automatically. And I'll never forget it because the guy had to run in 30 feet to catch the ball. The wind blew the ball back, and it's like, here it comes. And the storm came right down after I hit that ball. And they, I mean, it come down in torrential downpour. So we ended up going back to the hotel room. We said, well, this is probably canceled. So we go back to the hotel room, and it was 45 minutes later when the ground crew says, come on back, we're going to play. Come on back, we're going to play. There's no way. Yes, way, just come back. And we came back, and we ended up double dipping them. And I remember because I was 10 for 10 in the 2 games, and they gave me the MVP award. And I was like, well, I remember Roberson had like 17, 18 home runs, and this guy did that, and this guy did this, and they give me the MVP award. I was shocked. And I said, wow, later on, Jerome told me, he goes, well, Mike, you were 10 for 10 with like 5 home runs in the last 2 games, so you deserved it. But so I remember that because I remember that swing where that storm came in there and said, well, this weekend's over with. And the next thing you know, you're back out there playing, and you're winning a championship. So that one there definitely sticks out in my mind. And then you got to give credit, as I always have, to the Maryville Parks and Rec, their ground crew.
Yeah, the ground crew there is phenomenal. It rains, it pours every year, let's be honest. Yes. I think there's only one year where Sunday kind of got rained out. I remember Billy Messina, the pitcher, I think he was possibly with laser vision that year. He puts on his cape, he runs the bases in the mud, and then he does a full head first slide in head first slide into home plate in the mud. And there's a video of that somewhere. That Softball Kingdom was covering the event that year. But yeah, it looks like for the history, you won with Steels in 1986, 87, and 90. I think Steels broke up after that, and I remember you playing with the new Steels. I think it was 92 or 91. Yeah. I was down there, and I think you guys weren't quite the powerhouse Steels that you were in the 80s, and you lost a game, and you were over on Everett. And I remember you hitting one onto the front lawn of that field up in right field on Everett Field number 2. So that's my memory. That's my memory of you at the Smoky. But real quick, we'll get back to that in a minute. Joel, when you're hitting at the Smoky, are you thinking home run? Because it's unlimited home runs. The only 2 tournaments of the year that are unlimited, right, are the Smoky and the Major World Series. But Major World Series on a baseball field. So the Smoky is mostly 300 to 310 feet. The show field is a high school baseball field. It's about 315 down the lines, 330 to the gaps, 350 to center. 1, have you ever made it to the show field, Joel? And 2, what is your thought process? Is it different than a normal tournament?
The first couple of years, the first 2 years that I went to the Smoky, honestly, listen, I love the Smoky. And it's the fact that it's so prestigious and so historic and all those things, and the fact that I get to be a part of it, and you get that little bat, it's awesome. That overshadows everything. Is why I enjoy it. But the Smoky has not been nice to me, like not even a little bit. My very first one, I went 0-2, and it's wild. I try now I'm going to trust my hands. And I'm going to try and really not overswing, but I try to hit a good shot in the gaps. And then if I have a strike on me, I'm going to try to get a hit and not get out. I'm still going to try and play the game. Like, I know I don't have that oops, hit it out power the way that everybody else does, but I still want to win the game because there's been so many games at the Smoky where I've been like, we all need to hit 1,000 home runs. And then we lose the game, even though we all went like 3 for 3 with 3 bombs. And I'm really like, losing still sucks. Like, yo, it's Joel, the ball's coming in with no strikes, and then the ball's coming in with 1 strike. And do you recognize the pitch as, okay, that's one I can take out instantly, or are you thinking beforehand,
with one strike, I'm playing the game. With no strikes, I'm going gap and go. Or is there something that you see in that pitch as it's coming in that clicks and you just say, okay, I'm taking this one out?
The very first pitch, for so long, I've added, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have the same idea, especially in the show field. All the other fields, I don't worry about too much. Show field in the stadium, that outfield from home plate looks gargantuan. Yeah. You look like that fence can only get further, and you gotta hit it with a can of man. Like, you gotta put your whole life into this swing. That's what I usually think when I go up to bat. Now I realize, oh, it's 315 down the lines, 350. Yo, if I hit it hard enough, it will go out. I just gotta stay within myself and trust my own hands. Once you add the doubt, that's where you crumble. So on 0-0, I'm going to try and hit the ball as hard and as line drive as I can, get a double or hit it out. And then if not, I'll just get me a little single with strike on me. You know?
Hey, Mike, same question.
Yeah.
Now, you're obviously in your peak, you were the best home run hitter, probably had one of the highest home run frequencies. When you got to the Smoky, and for the people at home, pretty much all your tournaments were unlimited. So maybe you didn't change your mindset as much, but at the show field, did your mindset change because the field was bigger, or were you thinking home run on every at bat, or did you go with the pitch?
No, I never thought about like this is a bigger field or a little field.
Yeah.
No, I never thought about that at all. Okay, especially that park, because I had hit so many there, so it wasn't a matter of being able to hit it out of there.
Okay, bye.
What it meant was I just did one thing the majority of my career. I never played in a game with unlimited home runs, during it. So that never came into effect. I never thought about that.
You never played in a game that didn't have unlimited.
No.
Right. Okay.
Until 2000, there was, it was all you could hit. Yeah. I never played in the game that, hey, you can only hit 6 home runs. Maybe in senior softball, but no, not in regular softball. There was no limit. So my game set, my mind thought when I come to the plate every time was first, pull the ball hard. If I hit it out of the park, it went out of the park. And usually if it didn't go out of the park, my line shot would go over to first baseman and come down like a tennis hit. And then my thought was second base. So if I hit it out and trot around the bases. If I hit that line shot, then I'm going for second base. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about trying to hit it over here to left field because everybody's playing in right field. I never thought about it like that. It was just constantly pull, and you're either going to get a single. You're either going to get a single stretch into a double or a home run.
Yeah, my next Macenko memory is from 1990. I'm at State Road Park in Parma. They're getting ready to play the A Nationals ASA, and Steels is putting on an exhibition against the Parma Premier League All-Stars. And I go up there to State Road Park to watch it. I think it was on a Thursday night before the tournament. And I'm saying, well, Steels is going to crush the ball in those 305-foot fields. Well, they played the exhibition game up on the baseball field at State Road Park, which was probably as big or bigger than the Smoky. And I just remember sitting in the stands and Mike hits one out. Mike 1 for 1 home run. And then it was like Mike's 4 for 4 home runs. Mike's 5 for 5 home runs. I'm like, this guy doesn't care how big the field is. He's just launching them. But then my other memory, Mike, is I went down to the Cleveland Indians game, and I think it was before the game. You were trying to hit it out of center field at Municipal Stadium, the old Cleveland Indians Major League Stadium. What do you remember about that event? I can't remember if you hit one in the stadium, but I remember catching a ball in right field.
Right. Well, the whole thing came about with Dan Coblin, which is a newspaper guy here still today. I mean, very, very likable, very important guy in the game of sports in Cleveland. And him and my coach, Mr. Neal, they got into not an argument. They were just, both drinking. And they said, I wonder if anybody could ever hit a softball into the center field bleachers.
Yeah.
And Dave says, well, if anybody can, Mike can. So they said, well, let's bet on it and let's see if we can put it together. So they did put it together. And then what was crazy about it was that when I got into the box and stood at home plate and the kids pitching to me from the mound, you know, and I'm just hitting them one right after another up into the upper deck and out of the stadium, I mean, over the fence. And then they wanted my guy to pitch from third base for me to try to be able to pull the ball and hit it over that center field wall. And so I think it was like 400 to the wall, and I think I bounced like two of them because the wind always blew in off of Lake Erie. Yeah. And the guy that Luke Easter had hit a ball in there years ago, and they said it was one of the longest home runs you'd ever see. And now I think he hit it into the bleachers actually, which is like 460 into the wind. It's like it can't happen again. So, like I said, I give it my best shot, but I really like batting from home plate with the pitcher pitching. And, you know, I was getting into the roller. I was just getting into a nice rhythm and whacking them out of there. And then the guy says, well, let's see if we can hit it over that center field fence. I'm like, oh, my God. So,
yeah, I remember that. They moved the pitcher over to the third base line. So your natural pull would go towards center field.
Yeah,
that's exactly a great memory. We hit those balls a couple times that we got in the bleachers, just in BP. They were fun to hit.
Oh, but, they were hot balls, that's for sure.
Yeah, they were good. Joel, we're going to shift gears for a minute because I get a lot of comments on the condensed games about how bad conference players throw the ball to first base. And I don't think people understand the depth that you're throwing at and the fact that these pro-Ms and the hardcore balls, they're not that easy to throw. What can you tell me? What can you give me to give an answer to those comments that say conference infielders can't throw?
Yo, in order to throw the ball, you gotta catch the ball first.
That's true.
They forget that part. What? Like, Joe, are you kidding me? Like, who in the conference are you gonna stand and just be like, I'm confident in making this stuff? You gotta catch the ball first. That's first. Right now, I've been in the debate on the dirt and turf. I like
bouncing it.
I like bouncing it because on dirt you could get a ton of dirt and you have great grip. You could really sink your hands and your nails and whatever it is, and you could really throw it like a fastball if you can. And like my natural arm angle, I'm understanding that it comes off like a screwball, like a really fast two seam, and it dies. So a softball is not a baseball. You know, you can manipulate it way easier than a baseball. So 3-finger holds and then all these things. With the turf, you eliminate that airmail. That's number one. Number two, most of the turfs now, they're good enough where you got to have some skill throwing it. That's first of all. You can't just be bouncing it all willy-nilly. It's not that easy. You got to bounce it so it hits hip high or butt chest high to the first baseman. The first baseman still needs to catch it too. So it eliminates the airmail. Plus, you can get rid of it faster. But the thing is that, like, you still got to field it. And all the turfs are different. I used to be like, turf is easy. It's not like dirt. Dirt is starting to get a little dangerous because somehow, like, I don't know, maybe a Ryan Harvey line drive that'll knock your teeth out, make you wear a face mask for the rest of your life. I don't want to learn that lesson. I'd rather on the turf, and you got to make the play naturally, and he's got to be a better hitter, but you got to be a better fielder, and then but everyone's still safe in a way. So I'm a little mixed with it, but I prefer bouncing because you get rid of it faster. You eliminate the airmail, and bro, it's just you save your arm a bunch of times. It's so whoever, like Heath Barnes was the first one I started watching doing that, and I was like, man, why is he doing that? Because every infielder with a pretty good arm loves the idea of you catch it, you pause, and then you let it fly, and then the whole crowd is like, ooh, ah. But now you bounce it, you get the guy out, boom. So
yeah, I never thought about the release. You can release it. You're saying you can release it quicker when you bounce it, and it eliminates any possibility of an airmail,
Yeah.
so it's more accurate. So I think that's what the people in the comments don't understand is the accuracy. But you're right. You got to feel. These fielders have to be able to field 100+ mile an hour grounder.
You didn't see in Kansas City. Kansas City is the only turf that you've thrown it and it doesn't bounce as high. It'll stay ankle shin level. It's like when you go to bounce it, it's a grounder now.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like when somebody takes something off their swing to try to bloop it in and they make an out. Everyone says, no, go hard, go hard. It's kind of the same with the infielders. When they bounce it and it doesn't work, everyone's like, why didn't he just throw it hard? But overall, it's more accurate. Hey, Mike, you played second base most of your career, I believe. Did you ever play on turf and artificial turf, and did you bounce any ball? I mean, at second, you don't have to bounce it.
No. I never ever did that. And the first time I saw somebody do that, I was like, that was different. I wonder why he did that. And then I saw him doing it all the time. So now I realize that, just like Joel said there, there's a couple of factors that there's a reason why they do it. And if they do it because it's going to be easier to handle, like you said, not an airmail, you're throwing the ball to the first baseman, and then he's got to be a good first baseman now too. You're stepping this way, stepping that way. First base is not an easy job. That's a tough job. And so the easier that you can get the ball over there to him, I think it's the best way to do it. And I haven't watched last week. I couldn't tell that that turf was different in Kansas City as I'm watching the live stream. You can't tell that turf might be a little bit harder, because back when I played on the turf, well, way back when, the only place that had turf was the Cajun. That was in Pelican Park. That was the only place that had turf in the country. And that turf, when the ball bounced on it, it bounced 30 feet in the air. Okay? It was totally different. And so now today's turf is totally different because I remember that turf for Pelican Park, the only place that they used it at was Oregon University, the football field. And that's where Pelican Park brought it in there and used it. And if I'm not mistaken, Pelican Park, they just recently did some work to it to revamp the place. So, like I said, you can't tell watching it on the live stream, what kind of turf that is. You know what I mean? And like Joel says, and if it's not bouncing up high enough, that's not too good to be trying to catch it by your feet.
And another thing that I've noticed is like this year and last year, honestly, I've played in so many rain-filled games. You can't play in the rain and dirt. You play in the rain and turf.
Yes.
Now you gotta bounce it. Like that's for sure. Airmailing it. What slippery softball? Name me something harder to throw. Like
Joel. So that was part of the question: is the Pro-Am and the hardcore, are they hard to throw? Those balls?
Oh, no, they're not hard to throw.
No,
you gotta be. It takes practice. It takes an acquired skill set. It takes a lot of things to get good, but it's not hard. Because, at the end of the day, you can forefinger it and you can make sure you just lob it on in there. The thing that I would say, if anything, would be, I think if no, that doesn't work either. Never mind.
Go ahead, Mike.
The only thing that would be hard throwing the ball is if you were playing with a synthetic, because the synthetic, when it gets wet, it's really slippery. The composite, even though it gets a little bit wet, you're going to be able to throw that a whole lot better than the synthetic balls. And you're talking about the hardcore ball, so you're always going to play at the USSSA level. You're going to play with the best balls first off. So that hardcore ball it's got to be a whole lot easier than throwing a slippery ball across there.
Yeah, Mike, we're going to shift gears again back to unlimited homers. I was curious, when did the unlimited homers go away in the major division, and who decided that? Because all of the associations, I believe, used unlimited up until a certain year. So what year was that? Who decided that home run limits? And do you personally like home run limits?
Me, I liked home run limits.
No, I'm asking if you like the home run limits today.
No. There's, the home run limits are home run limits, and I guess in the senior division. But then again, you got your home run limits now in conference softball. The one thing that it does bring into the game is the situations, because if you're out of home runs now, you've got to hit a base hit, and it all depends on how good you are at hitting base hits. If you know how to hit a base hit down past the third baseman, past the shortstop. I mean, if I had to hit a base hit, first thing I'd be trying to do is hit it by their ankles as hard as I could, to try to mess it up there.
But Mike, who decided to get rid of the home run limits?
Who decided to get hold of?
Who decided to get rid of the unlimited?
I couldn't tell you, because when I played, and like I said, the last year I played was 97 with Steels. 98, I was working with a Nike. 99, I came back and played with R&D. And then in 2000, I played with Budweiser. And I played with Budweiser till August 20th. And that's when we had qualified for all 4 worlds. And then I had to take over the family business. And I never played softball again. At that point, there was no unlimited. It was unlimited. There was no home run rules. So 2000, I know for a fact, because especially the last game I played was at the Smoky Mountain, at that one ballpark there. That's where I played my last game at, and there was no home run rules.
So it was at least to 2000.
Yeah, to 2000 that I know of, because like I said, in '99 with R&D that I played for a couple of games that year, there was no rule.
Yeah.
And then also you had to run the bases out. Okay.
Right. You hit the home run, you had to run all the bases. Did you know
That's
that?
That's exactly right. That's what I'm saying.
When you guys were doing the unlimited, how much better were the bats than they are now? Were they better, or did you hit it? You had to hit it like a man.
Yeah, they hit it.
You had to hit it, right? So I think the unlimited with those bats, now you just need the little flickety flick of the wrist and know how to carry it. I think the equipment matters a little bit, but like I said, there's dudes like Tyler Irvine. He can hit it out with plywood. You can hit it.
You can hit it out with anything today. I mean, and the hard part is when you get to that unlimited number, like say it's 16, and you get to it, then you see. I'm not going to say that you're going to see the better ball players perform, because I think all the guys that are playing today in the conference, I mean, you guys are all young and tremendous ball players. I think the game is in a good spot, because, the guys that are playing defense, you can catch them 125-mile-an-hour balls coming at you, but you're not at 45 feet either. You're playing back on them grass. You're playing back on them baseball fields, so you're able to make that catch. And so that bounce throw to first base is a good throw, because it's a long way when you're playing back on them deep infields. So we're going to shift gears again back to the Crown Town. I have a video queued up. If Bernie can share my screen. This video is let's see if we can see this. Okay. This is Josh Riley hitting with a game-tying run on second. Joel makes the play, throws to third. They tag the base. But then what I want you to see here is the next video in slow motion of this play. Joel, you backhand it. This is with 1 out. Runners on first and second. Resmondo down 1. You throw the ball. It's a little maybe behind Dagmar. Dagmar spins around, tags the base, but he's late, right? Marshburn's safe. Yep.
But then Marshburn comes off the base, and Dagmar's glove is on his back right there. So if you look, it looks like there's space, and it looks like Dagmar tags him. So whether the umpire see his hands off the base.
Yeah.
It looks to me, what do you think, Joel? I think it was Darryl Rowe that made the correct call in the end. He may have called it early on the tag, I'm not sure, or he may have called it after he came off the base. I'd have to talk to him. But what are your thoughts about this play? This basically won the tournament.
Bro, you want to hear something hilarious? Tyler Marshburn's on second base right before that happened. I already told you how much of a fan I am of Resmondo, all those cats. I know all of that. I follow every single one of those dudes. Dude, I love appreciating good ass talent. Okay. And then Mr. Helmer, legendary, just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. How much better do you want ever? He looks at Marshburn and he goes, "Hey, I need you to score. You're coming hard and I'm not going to stop you." And I go, and he looks over at me and he goes, "Out of the gutter." And I go, and then Riley hits me the ball.
Yeah.
And then I turn and I'm like, ooh, double play. And then I just keep sliding. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, all right, Dag, good thing you're covering third. He's on his way to third. And I'm here like, I'm throwing it to the bag. It is what it is. And I threw it over there. And I think in fast motion, and if you let the video play out, he looks out.
Yeah.
When you go frame by frame like that, he looks safe.
Yeah, until he comes off.
Wild.
What's amazing about this screenshot right here is Brett's looking at the umpire. He doesn't see Marshburn come off. So he gets on the plane, he flies home. He probably thinks he got screwed on that call. But if he watches the video, the condensed game, I believe Marshburn's off the base and Dagmar's glove is on Marshburn's back for the tag out here.
But is the umpire looking at that when he come off that base? Was he looking that way?
I feel like the umpire stayed on the call and he was halfway down the third base line, or 40% down the third base line when he called it.
But he was looking right at it.
Yeah, I wanted to show everyone that because I think Resmondo feel like they got screwed on the call, but he does look out to me. And then I wanted to keep sharing the screen for one more thing. Let's see if I can find it here. All right. So that's the new logo for this greatest show in softball, Smoky Mountain Classic, this weekend, Friday through Saturday. Tournament previews on conferenceuSSSA.com. And there's that picture from the 85. But here's what I wanted to show Mike. Mike, this is the barnstorming tour team from Steels.
Yes.
1988, I believe. Somebody posted this yesterday on Facebook, so I grabbed it.
Billy Blake did.
Yeah, so this is the schedule. Joel's going to love this. This is Steel's schedule, and you probably, Bernie, if you can share, starts February 23rd, right?
Yep.
And you guys played almost every day.
Yes.
The entire year.
Yes.
Look at March 1st through March 31st. Every single day you had an exhibition game on your way to the next tournament. Tell us about the 1988 Barnstorming Tour. I believe that's the year you hit 844 home runs.
No, this is the year that I hit 830 home runs. I hit 844 in 87. And okay. This was the actual first year that we became the Silver Bullets. See that Panama City, we had a big thing there in Panama City. The people from Coors Light came there. We had the hotel that we were in, they had it all with Coors Light stuff everywhere. So that was the actual beginning of our Silver Bullet 88, 89, and 90. That's when we were with, we were sponsored by Coors. And so it started right there in Panama City. And like I said, yes, we played every day. We played, I don't know, like I said, probably put 30,000 miles on the vehicle. But we played everywhere. Like I said, I can say this, I didn't miss a game.
How much fun would it be to play this schedule? Like he played I don't see a day off in there. I'm sure there was.
No, we played every day. And the thing about it is there was guys that Mr. Neal used to always say, I got 100 guys calling me that want to be on this team. And he was right. There were. And then, in other words, he would do that to kind of like intimidate you, to get you to play harder, I guess. But, some guys would complain, they wanted to get here. Then once they got here and then we were doing all the traveling, then they would complain like, man, this is just too much. Well, if this is too much, then I guess maybe you shouldn't have joined. Okay. You wanted to be here. You're here. And now it's kind of tough for you. So I never looked at it like that. Like Billy Blake, he posted this because he really enjoyed going from town to town to town to play ball. Now, I know that there was, better times and other times on hotels and different things that you stayed at, but I enjoyed it. We did something that nobody else could do. And there was, there's people that would give their right arm to be part of that team and play that ball everywhere you went to.
Yeah, I remember you guys would sell bats and gloves basically to pay the players, pay for the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And it was called a barnstorming tour. How much fun would this be, Joel?
Oh, the people that I surround myself with, we all have very like-minded ways of how much we love the game. And most of us, we played baseball thinking we were going to go to the MLB. And then it came across this one little discussion I had with one of my boys. And it was just like, if you paid me $100 a game, I'll play for the love of it. Right now, I play for free. And you got to love the game. You got to love the game. And that, bro, if you love it, that's great. You love that.
Sure.
Yeah, is it gonna be tired? Yeah, you're gonna miss a couple things. Yeah, what's going on? But the thing is, it's gotta be embedded in you. You gotta be for real about it. It's gotta be a part of you. I would love to do that. Look how many cities, look how many people are gonna understand what softball is, other than when you ever get hit by the people that don't know anything about softball when they hit you with church league underhand, there's a bunch of people who are gonna change their minds, It's gonna be that's fun, it's unbelievable. That's outstanding. That's every day. And the thing is, also you forget that you guys' era, you guys were built different, man. I remember everybody there's no ibuprofen, rub some dirt on it, walk it off, drink some water, change your socks. Yeah, you guys are hardcore, man. No, nowadays there's too many things that there's people that no. But
well, I'm sorry. There was ibuprofen.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you were a dinosaur. Sorry.
No.
February 23rd to October 2nd. I don't see a day off on that schedule. Maybe there was one, but I don't see it. And these exhibition games, as I recall, at least the ones in Ohio, were against the Maple Heights All-Stars, the Parma All-Stars. They were Class A players, a lot of them, All-Star teams you were playing against, trying to sell bats to the local teams to pay for your next trip and then you played at least 4 Worlds. ISA.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the key because Jerome was the one that put this together. Jerome Ernest, the one that did all this for us. He's the one that put all these schedules together. He was the best at it, and he would set it up where we could play in North Carolina at Charlotte in USSSA NIT, and then we would play Wilson, North Carolina later the next weekend, and we would play cities working our way there.
Yeah,
and then Jerome every morning, not every morning, but I would take him. He'd say, "Hey, Mike, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, he needs a ride to the local newspaper." And I would take him to the local newspaper, and he'd put those newspapers together in a couple of hours. And then we get to the ballpark. People were fighting for him to read his newspapers. So he's the one that put and the other thing was this too, DW. We were charging, because of the way we were charging a $3,500 appearance fee. Whenever we got that appearance fee, you got the appearance fee. In some places, we had to argue with them. But you got the appearance fee, and then you sold the product, and that was a way of promoting it, getting it out to the people.
I didn't realize there was an appearance fee. That's awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up the show, but I wanted to say, I talked to Chris Clark, one of the directors of the Smoky, great guy. He told me today that Pure Pressure dropped out, Conference B team from Texas. They dropped out because their hometown was hit by the hurricane in Texas. They don't have any power, so there's no way they can leave to play the Smoky. So they're looking for a local team. The bracket will be back online this afternoon with that new team in there, but it doesn't affect the game times of the team,
the tournament,
of the conference teams.
Right.
It affects the local teams that have to play for seeding purposes. So they're working on that. They're going to get a 34th team. Joel, you got everybody this weekend?
Yeah, bro, we got everybody. I'll tell you what, man.
Back.
Yeah, we got Mapes. We're gonna get TK, Bryce Sheffield, everybody. Yo, everyone's gonna be
right. You were without Tyler Kalki last week, Roccabaldo, and Mapes. That's 3 of your top 5 in the lineup, I think. And you still beat your lineup.
Yo,
next man up in the conference, let's be honest. But final thoughts about the Smoky coming up and anything else in softball. We'll start with Joel.
What was the question? Say it again.
Just final thoughts. Smoky coming up. What do you got?
Yo, just there's a bunch of things. There's a bunch of doubts. There's a bunch of little creep. We all want to win, and I put a lot of pressure and all these things. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't take anything in my life as serious as I do softball. And like it makes my hair fall out. I can't sleep at night sometimes knowing about this thing. Like, yo, I breathe it. I thoroughly enjoy it. The thing is that, like, for all those people that are like me, that like take it a little too far sometimes, you know, have the wife look at you like, why were you covering the 5-6 like that? You know, he's going 1-6. So it's like, for all those cats, yo, let's loosen the grip, have some fun, make sure you don't gotta hate everybody off the field. If you do hate them in between the lines, it's okay in between the lines, just not off the field. Shout out to DeMarini, Mike Cornell, always setting us up. He's the man. I love all you guys. And then Sports Reach, we've been putting it together. Shout out to my whole squad. Like, I know they gave me the MVP, but like, if you really look at that whole tournament, everyone there should have got an MVP. It was outstanding. And bro, all we can do now is keep it up and just keep swinging. That's all. That's the advice that I have for everybody. Just keep swinging, whether you fail or you succeed.
Definitely a true team effort by Sports Reach. Next man up. It was impressive to see, and softball is a lifestyle. We know that for the 3 guys here. Mike, yes. What's your final thoughts on the Smoky? Any other memories of it or thoughts? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, this is a funny memory. Okay, it was late one night. I went to the ballpark with Mr. Neal. And we're sitting in between the diamonds, and we're watching the game on Diamond 4. And it's Jerry Caterers playing, I think, I forget who they were playing. But I'll never forget it because, you know, we're up there. It's late. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And so Joe Young comes up, and he hits a line shot off of that screen in right field on that. You know how right field is on that, on that diamond. He hits a line shot right off the top of that line thing, and he barely just gets down to first base. You know, he's basically walking to first base. Okay. So I holler out to their coach. I said, man, if that guy was on my team, he'd be on the bench. I can't help it. The guy's name was Ernie Aeroshock. He calls timeout and says, Joe, sit down. he put Joe right on the bench. Joe's looking up at me. He goes, Mike, I feel the same way about you. You know, it was funny because, you know, I was just teasing with the guy like, yeah, man, you know, he ain't hustling. He should be put on the bench. And he called timeout. He goes, Joe, sit down, will you? So that was a funny time. But the Smoky is the, you know, it's a granddaddy of softball. And I believe that the people in that city, Maryville, Tennessee, those folks, they treat their softball players like Major League ball players. I mean, they treat them with class. And like I said, it's the best tournament of the year. And it's kind of like you can't wait to get back there to play because you know that the people really do enjoy not just the home runs, you know, because that's the way the game was really built back in the 80s, was home runs. It's a different game now because of the different equipment, and the guys are better ball players. There's a whole lot of things that have changed the game, but it's changed it for the good. I really do believe. And so, like I said, I give a shout out to the Rismondo team. I work for Mike and Rawlings in Easton. They're our flagship team, and the team that they have, I think, is an unbelievable team of talent with the ball players that they have on that one team. And then when you think about what Joel has talked about here, the game, you got to put your shoes on and everybody's got to get out there and play it the same way. And anybody can win when you step on that field. I don't care who you are. And I've seen him at that Smoky on an opening night. Richard Superior got beat by just a local team, but it rained. And they took the teams that played Friday night that lost, and they were out of the tournament. And Frank Ladiano, you thought was going to kill somebody, because that took Rich's, which was they were right there with us and our Steels team, and the other team, they were right there, and they couldn't play. So like I said, anything can happen in the softball field, and really at the Smoky Mountain, anything can happen there. So you need to be on your toes when you go there. You want to play good there, because it kind of like gives you a catalyst. What's the word? It jumpstarts you into the rest of the season. Yes, yeah. Exactly. You want to. The funny thing about softball was, Mr. Neal always said, you want to gel at the right time. You don't want to gel in that first tournament and then work your way down the rest of the season. You want to work in that beginning of that season to put that team together so you play together. And when the Smoky comes, that's where you want to be on all cylinders. And if you can be on all cylinders, then you use that for the rest of the year. And they, we always said, whoever won the Smoky usually won the World Series. So
56th annual Smoky coming up this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday night in the round of 16 on the show field. I believe it's 8 or 8:30 p.m. Probably going to be Roofex, the number 1 team, against Sunny's, the number 16 team. Two of the top teams that could win it meeting in the round of 16 because of the way the seeding is with the conference points. I know we were wrapping up, but I just wanted to ask Joel, 80-foot bases. I feel like in the past with the regular Pro-Am ball and some of the other balls that were used, it became a bit of a mental game, right? With a guy on first, you're thinking home run because it's 80-foot bases. You hit a grounder, it could be a double play. Do you change the way you play infield at the Smoky being 80-foot bases, Joel?
Oh, 80-foot bases is a dream. Like, you could play wherever you want. If you got the arm for it, at short, no one's beating you out unless it's Ben Dunn or Double A. The speedsters, much like the people who hit the home runs, they're going to show out at the place where you hit the home runs. The people who run fast, you're going to show 80-foot bases. That's why I would always argue that if the game added, where are they at right now? 70 foot?
70, yeah.
Yeah, so if they added 5 feet, 75 foot, it would be evenly matched. Because think about how many bang safe plays are at 70 feet right now. And it's not speedsters either. Like, everyone on every team, like, who's fast, and then who's like, I didn't know he was that fast. No, it's just because the bases are kind of short. 80 feet. Yo, that's awesome. I get to throw people from left field. Bro, you peacock super hard on that one. You throw somebody out from left field, like deep short, the guy's still halfway down first base.
But it is a mental game as a batter, knowing that the guy is on first with 80-foot bases. Like, you have to get some green,
There's some tricky stuff, because if you're on the left side and there's a right-handed batter, there's only 2 options that they're having. Exactly what Mike just said. They're pulling it super hard. So you're either going to get a nasty knuckle. They're not trying to hit a one-hopper through the infield. Like, you're going to get a crazy knuckle that's going to one-hop in between bounce, or it's going to go over your head. Like, so, like, that's it. There's only 2 options that's going to happen at the Smoky. So
All right, so that's going to do it for the Hit and Sit Show 40. I want to thank Joel, DeMarini, Mike, Rawlings for coming in and covering all these topics for me. Check out conferenceuSSA.com daily, new videos on the YouTube channel daily, and good luck to you, Joel, and the teams. Mike, you and I talked about offline the fact that possibly we weren't sure on this. No team outside the top three have ever won the Smoky.
No, it's always, well, it just so happens to be that it's gone that way. It's usually the 1, 2, or 3 team is in there for the championship.
Yeah.
That time, like I said, with Frank and them and Riches, and they lost that game on Friday night, they were done.
Yeah. We've seen MPT Reynolds as a AA team, Precision as a AA team. There might have been one more that made it to the finals, but then got beat. But I think with the hardcore ball, look out. If there's a 7-inning game between 2 major teams, they could break the all-time runs record. And then multiple players could possibly break the home run record, which is currently 30. So
what's the total runs?
The total runs, I forget. I have to look it up. 86 was the winning team, and 78 maybe.
Okay, I got you.
Was the losing. So 150, 160 something is the record. I think that's in jeopardy if Rismondo played, say, a Rufex or a Sonny's for 7 innings.
Well, yeah, for sure. If they get 7 innings, then it could be a. If it was a 90-90 game, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay.
Yeah. So check it out, and especially tune in Friday night, see who wins that Rufex Sonny's game, and drink up because it's supposed to be 95 degrees. Stay hydrated. But thanks, Bernie, in the background, Kelly for putting us on Facebook, and everybody for coming in today. Appreciate it.
See you now.